all the human beings out there with the super conscious powers of Paramashiva and to explore extraordinary possibilities that they can endure in life. So the topics. Yes. So the topics that we are covering today. Sorry for the technical glitch. Just a moment. Um, I would like to apologize with all the audience for the technical glitch. Sorry, I'm just getting back. So, the problems of the world that we are facing today, it could be ranging from the climate change, as we are talking, the global warming, the poverty, the hunger issues, poor education issues, or medical facilities, lack of medical facilities. You can range all of these problems. Please understand, none of the problems is unspoken so far. Every single problem is already addressed by several world nations, but it has only been spoken. It was not acted. Even if it was acted, it was not solved. Do you all agree with that? Do you all agree to the fact that we are in a world where we have really spoken about global climate change? We've spoken about so many other things that the world is facing, but none of these problems are being addressed or attended to. Now, we listed a number of global problems and we have spoken about it elaborately, but none of this is actually attended to. So, you cannot demand sustainability from them because the world leaders who are these companies say nothing short of we will transform the world and free the human race from poverty and tyranny and lobbyist and hunger. These promises we have heard time and again. So it is fair of a global citizens like us to ask for these global leaders and ambassadors and politicians and prime ministers and secretary generals to actually bring a change for heaven's sake, because we have heard all these promises for a long enough. But is it even possible for us to expect a world which is fair, a world which is free of any natural disasters, a world where we can experience equality, where we can experience humanity, where we can experience each other treating properly, where we can experience a world without hunger or any health issues? Is it all too much to ask, or we have requested these from our global leaders for long enough, and is it even too late to ask? So the one first thing that I would like to share with all of you is Paramashiva has descended as the supreme pontiff of Hinduism to raise the enlightened consciousness of one and all. And he has made this whole Kailasa happen to one and all for us all to experience enlightened human consciousness. Swamiji has founded the United States of Kailasa based on the principles of Vedas and Agamas, which is the source Hindu scriptures. It literally, Kailasa offers time-tested solutions from Hinduism to one and all to live a life of enlightened consciousness. You may wonder, just by living the life of enlightened consciousness, can all these problems be solved? It can not only be solved, it can actually be made redundant. And the two main governing principles of Kailasa nation is number one, ahimsa, which is the non-violence, which is really what the whole world needs today. And the second one is everybody deserves to treat each other as Paramashivam. You heard it right. In the world where we are literally fighting for equality and humanity, in Kailasa, the basic right, the fundamental right is you are deserved to be treated as Paramashiva, the primordial divinity. So, with these values, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has founded this United States of Kailasa, which is going to lead the whole world with solutions from Hinduism that can solve the global problems today. And what you're seeing here, yes, the four criteria to be qualified to call a nation, to call Kailasa as a nation. So, as per the Montevideo Convention, you have four important criteria. Number one, it should have a sovereign land, and it should have a permanent population, and should have a proper governance. And fourthly, it should be able to form diplomatic relations, the bilateral relations with several countries. The United States of Kailasa has more than one place. In more than one place, we have a sovereign land. It has a permanent population. It's run by the proper government, and it has entered into diplomatic relations with more than 30 countries. And it is working on diplomatic relations with more than 75 countries as we speak. So, since the Kailasa qualifies all the four criteria, the United Nations have recognized Kailasa as a nation. And a moment of pride for all the Hindus out there when the untold Hindu persecution was brought to the attention of the international community through United Nations. The permanent ambassador of Sri Kailasa, Sri Moksha Priyananda, he actually presented the plight of dispossessed Hindus around the world and the persecution that they were going through for centuries, and the persecution that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and his community went through for more than a decade. United Nations recognized Kailasa and the persecution of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism in several reports, in more than 10 reports. The United Nations have recognized the persecution on Swamiji and recognized Kailasa. So so this is a moment of pride. On 11th of January 2023, United States of Kailasa and the city of Newark entered into a protocol bilateral agreement, which means the ceremony took place at the City Hall of Newark. For the first time ever, the two diplomatic states, similarly, for the first time ever, the two diplomatic states, the United States of Kailasa and the United States of African Diaspora, also known as the Sixth Region of Africa. The state of African Diaspora is also known as the Sixth Region of Africa. So both the United States of Kailasa and the state of African Diaspora entered into a cooperation agreement for revival of two great ancient traditions. So what you're seeing here is the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is recognized to be the sovereign of the sovereign state of Kailasa by both houses of representative and the Congress of United States. Yes, so we just went through. I'm going to repeat it again. So the cooperation agreement has been signed between the United States of Kailasa and what is called as a SOD, meaning the state of African Diaspora, also known as the Sixth Region of Africa. So this is the first time one such cooperation agreement has been signed for the revival of two great ancient traditions.
The first and foremost sacred secret I want you to know: integrity is falling in love with your higher personality. Understand? You do have Sadashivatva in you. You are hardwired for it. It's not that your Sadashivatva is gift from somebody. No. Understand? Just like how when you fall asleep, you put an alarm and tell the alarm, hey, wake me up tomorrow morning. Same way, that's exactly the way I sent my gurus. I sent my gurus to the planet Earth ahead of me and said, hey, I am coming. Wake me up when I assume the human body. My alarm clocks were my gurus. Hey, wake me up. Understand? They just reminded me to fall in love with my higher personality, Sadashiva. I started my public life in a very young age. Immediately after 12, after I realized my enlightenment, I took my first Padayatra as per my Guru's instruction. That Padayatra is my first enriching Padayatra. See, I should say, I started organized public life in 2000. But my public life started when I was 12. How I started my public life? One person at a time. I will walk from village to village, sit, spend some time, and small boy, naturally people will be curious, all alone. They will come and try to talk to me. Then I will start talking to them and start enriching. Whatever little way I know. It was a raw, crude, ground level way. One person at a time. So I decided I am going to start my own way. One person at a time.
என்னுடைய ரூம் பக்கத்து ரூம் தான் அவர் இருந்தாப்புல. ஒரு சின்ன இரும்பு பெட்டி ஒன்று இருக்கும். அந்த இரும்பு பெட்டியில தினந்தோறும் காலையில் 5 மணிக்கு எழுந்துக்கிற ஒரே நபர் எங்க ஹாஸ்டல்லே முதல் நபர் அவராக தான் இருப்பாரு. குளிச்சுட்டு வந்துட்டு தினந்தோறும் பூஜை செய்வாப்புல. பூஜை செய்து விட்டுட்டு யாரெல்லாம் அவர்கிட்ட போயிட்டு ஆசீர்வாதம் கேட்கிறாரோ அவர் திண்ணூறு வச்சு இன்றைய நாள் நன்றாக இருக்கும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி எல்லாருக்கும் ஆசீர்வாதம் பண்ணுவாப்புல.
ஏன் அவர் சிரிச்சுட்டே தான் இருக்கிறாரு. ஆனால் அந்த சிரிப்பினுடைய அர்த்தம் எனக்கு இப்போதான் கரெக்டாக புரியுது. ஏன்னா அது ஒரு தெய்வீக சிரிப்புன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. அந்த தெய்வீக சிரிப்பை என்னால் இப்பவும் நல்லா உணர முடியும்.
ரூம்குள்ள வந்துட்டாருன்னா ஒண்ணு சும்மாவே இருக்க மாட்டாரு, புக் எடுத்து படிப்பாரு, இல்ல அந்த சிலைகளுக்கான அலங்காரங்கள் பண்றது இதெல்லாம் பண்ணிட்டு இருப்பாரு. இல்லைன்னா எந்நேரம் பார்த்தாலும் ஒரு அந்த மெடிடேஷனோ இல்ல வேற ஒரு பாவநிலையிலயோ ரூம்குள்ளேயே நடந்துட்டு இருப்பாரு. இதுக்காக ஒர்க்கையும் டிஸ்டர்ப் பண்ண மாட்டாரு. ஒர்க் டைம் வந்தா அதுல இருந்து இறங்கி வந்து உடனே வேலைக்கு போவாரு. வேலைக்கு போயிட்டாருன்னா அங்க சிரிச்சு பேசி ஜாலியா இருந்து அதே நேரத்தில் உன்னிப்பா கவனிக்கிறது.
Parivrajaka Yatra happens only when you move out of joy. I tell you, I was moving like a banyan leaf in the breeze. When a leaf falls from the tree, in the breeze how it moves. That's the way I moved in my life. That is why my Parivrajaka, even to remember, is a joy for me. I tell you, shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. So most smartest strategy is hard work with integrity. That's all. That's the most smartest strategy. I decided, let me sit and start doing, start empowering, start enriching. It's actually, that is the way I remember me even now. When I close my eyes, I don't remember me sitting in a golden throne. When I close my eyes, I only remember the boy, village boy with a stick on his shoulder, a kamandalu. Before Hindus could recognize, I have created a very powerful enlightenment ecosystem. Everywhere, spiritual awakening is happening, enlightenment is happening. People are manifesting enlightenment, manifesting powers, everything. Kailasa is reviving the enlightenment ecosystem. The Kailasa will be the place where almost million power manifestors are living and running. At least 10 million temples and monasteries, which are spiritual embassies of Paramashivam, and reviving this enlightenment, power manifesting civilization. Kailasa is a place where everything related to super consciousness is revived. All the sampradaya, all the spiritual ecosystems. Kailasa is a place where everything related to super consciousness is revived. All the sampradaya, all the spiritual ecosystems created for enlightenment will be revived. And established in such a way it never gets lost again. There forever serving the humanity.
Yes, that was the beautiful prelude to the supreme pontiff of Hinduism, the hard work with which the United States of Kailasa is built till today. From age 3 till now, over 30 years of public life, Swamiji has worked so hard, tirelessly, day in and day out, one person at a time, one being at a time, and built the entire Kailasa. Kailasa is the testimony of untold Hindu persecution, which covers over 412 million Hindus who were massacred, 3.7 million Hindus who were blackmailed to convert, 9 million Hindu scriptures were burnt. Despite Hindus going through so much of persecution, it was never revealed to the world. For the first time, Swamiji has founded this Kailasa as the ancient, enlightened Hindu civilization nation and the first nation of all the Hindus Swamiji is also the legal inheritor of 19 plus ancient sovereign Hindu kingdoms. And Swamiji is also the 293rd Guru Mahasanitanam of Madurai Adinam and 203rd Emperor of Surya Vamsa Surangi Samrajya. And what you're seeing here is a glimpse of all the 19 kingdoms that Swamiji was coronated with. Yes, and Swamiji is the 203rd incumbent emperor of Surya Vamsa Surangi Samrajya. And Swamiji is reviving the political legitimacy of Hinduism, whether it's in terms of being the Guru Mahasanitanam of Kingdom of Madurai or Kingdom of Swargapuram or the Emperor of Surya Vamsa Surangi Samrajya. Just like Vatican is for Christians, Kailasa is for Hindus, and Kailasa is a religious nation which is run by enlightened Guru Parampara, enlightened beings. And everything that Hinduism has got to offer, Kailasa is bringing it out and making it all user-friendly to solve the global problems. Yes, and what you are seeing here is the 16,000 plus Hindu infrastructure that was created by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism in the last 30 years. And we have global footprint in more than 5,000 cities and 100 countries. Kailasa's diplomatic mission involves Sri Kailasa's Uniting Nations, which is working towards various humanitarian agencies across the world in terms of bringing global peace, bringing literacy, solving the world hunger problems, and many more. What you're seeing here is the Department of Education, which is literally 487 plus extended campuses of Kailasa is established in more than 150 countries. Now, you may wonder how the Department of Education, Kailasa's Department of Education, can really solve the literacy problem that the world is facing today. So, let us say some of the classic world issues, especially in terms of education sector, if you take predominantly inequality in lack of access of education. What we currently saw is 250 million children left without any primary school. We do not have primary education. 250 million children as we are speaking, and a large number of teachers and the mental health issues that the students are facing today in terms of whether it is suicide rates or the anxiety issues or the quarter life crisis that the current education system is making the children to face is something unresolvable, and we don't see any light in the way the current world is functioning. Swamiji has revived the Hindu education systems through Kailasa's knowledge transmission methodologies. So it is not a knowledge transfer methodology as the current education system is working on. Kailasa's education system is about knowledge transmission methodology, where you can access infinite information from cosmos through very, very interesting and rich spiritual pedagogy. And it has literally been for the last 30 years. And about $15 billion is being spent by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism in bringing the educational legitimacy of Hinduism to one and all. And if you take the poverty and the hunger issues today, literally they are the major global issues as we speak. And more than half of the world is suffering from poverty, and at the same time, it is the unequal distribution of resources across the world. And in fact, 690 million people, as we speak now, 90 million people are left hungry. They don't have a single meal even till today. So that's the plight of the world that we are in today. But Swamiji has established this Kailasa in such a way that no stomach can be left hungry. That is a law and norm in Kailasa. And with this, Swamiji has served more than 1 billion free meals. Not only free meals, it is sattvic, organic, vegetarian free meals is being served in all the Kailasas around the world to mitigate the hunger issues. Yes, and what you're seeing here is Kailasa's Ishanya project. It is about recycling the available resources that we have in this world. So throughout the presentation, we saw there are a number of disparity that's involved in terms of distribution of resources. On one hand, there is a world which is filled with lots of resources and it's getting wasted. And on the other hand, more than half of the world do not have access to education, do not have access to food, do not have access to basic social security. So bridging this gap is one of the key functions that Kailasa is holding today, which Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is constantly driving and envisioning a world to be a better place. So what you're seeing here is the Department of Health goals. Similarly, there are a number of healing centers and peace initiatives that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has revived through Kailasa. Today, as I speak, violence remains a serious concern in many parts of the world. It includes whether it is in terms of terrorism or organized crimes or the domestic violence that the women and children are facing in everyday homes as we speak. The impact of this violence is actually far reaching, and it actually harms the individuals in a personal level and also at a community level. So bringing peace techniques, peace methodologies, and at the same time healing people, whoever is suffering from mental and the physical illnesses through all the sciences that Hinduism has brought is one of the key contributions of Kailasa as we speak. Yes, and world's largest Hindu library. Literally, we used to have 100 million source scriptures, and each of these source scriptures gave birth to one religion itself. When I say one religion, it is not just a religion, but rather it is an ecosystem that gives birth to so many different thought currents, different inventions and discoveries, and many more contributions. So, literally, every single source scripture of Hinduism is a gift to the whole of the humanity. And today, as we are speaking, we only have 10 million source scriptures available. Remaining 90% of these source scriptures are completely burnt. So Swamiji is reviving all these source scriptures, not only making it available for the entire world. Swamiji is literally making it user friendly by translating, by making it user friendly through various courses and discourses that Swamiji has given till today. So in a way that making Hindus feel that these source scriptures are completely practical, and not only practical, they are the elixir for the whole world's global problems that we are facing today. And what you're seeing here is the Department of Religions and Worships, Interfaith Relations. Here we have Canada's Prime Minister addressing the interfaith dialogue, and we have a representation from Kailasa's Foreign Ministry. Yes, and this is one of the very important contributions of Kailasa, which is global solution for COVID-19 and multilateralism. So Kailasa has recorded literally 0 deaths. When the whole world was closing its door, Swamiji has opened the spiritual embassies of Kailasa around the globe to one and all, where literally free food, free education, free internet services, free medical services, everything was provided free of cost. And despite all of that, literally we had 0 infection rate and 0 deaths that's been recorded in all the Kailasas around the world. This particular fact and the entire approach was welcomed by the United Nations, and a report has been published in this aspect on multilateralism approach that was devised by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism in mitigating the disasters. So about $800 million was spent just in COVID care relief funding. Most of it was all involved in mental health care. Actually, that was the most neglected component. If you see any global countries, they're spending, if you see, mental health care was the most neglected component, but in fact, in Kailasa, that was the most important contributing factor towards this $800 million of funding. So, like this, there are several disaster relief approaches that the Kailasa has adopted till today, and Swamiji has been reviving each and every technique and methodology that source scriptures have given, what Paramashivam has ordained, and making it more and more practical to the current world that we are living in. And in a world ravaged by violence and war, ecological destruction, hatred, poverty, literally Kailasa stands as a bold vision for the humanity. It stands as a bold vision for the human potential. That's how Swamiji has envisioned and made the Kailasa happen for the last 30 years, where you are potential, you are a possibility, you are a divine being having a human experience. And with that note, would like to share about all the Hindu life science techniques that are revived by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. It actually enhances and improves one's physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. These techniques have been passed down to generations and have been refined over the time to provide a comprehensive approach to holistic health and well-being. And literally, the 10 million individuals who have been trained by Kailasa are referred as peacekeepers, and their role is to serve the humanity and spread the techniques and principles to one and all. So, through its 5,000 healing centers as we speak today, and more than 1,000 conventions and programs that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has conducted, Kailasa provides access to these techniques to a large number of people, allowing them to benefit from their life enhancing effects. So we have today Saroj from United Kingdom. Her experience of being healed from a cancer after attending one such Kailasa's convention and is just an exemplary example of the potential impact that the Kailasa and all the techniques that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is reviving today. By incorporating the principles from Hindu life sciences into practices and daily lives, how each and every person's individual strength is being empowered, I'm sure all of you can experience just by listening to the testimony of Ma Saroj. So it's my pleasure to welcome Ma Saroj to the show today. And she is going to share her beautiful experiences of how she met Swamiji and what was her experiences of meeting Swamiji and what is she has got to share with all of us about Kailasa today. It's my pleasure to welcome Ma Saroj, Nithyananda Ma.
Nithyananda Ma, Nithyananda. I'm fortunate to be here and talking about my personal experience about my guru, who has completely transformed my life. Not just mine, my family's and anybody I touch. I can never imagine my life, what it used to be and where I am now. His blessings have been non-stop. If I start counting, I think you'll be here all night. But I just wanted to touch one issue. I had a very serious health issue. I had cancer, and that was 3 years ago. And I had a very serious reaction to the first chemo. And I was in ambulance being taken to a hospital which was much further away because all the beds were taken over by the COVID patients. It was the time the pandemic was hitting and they couldn't find beds. And when I was in the ambulance, I was having fits. And I could see the person who was in the ambulance was really scared as well, saying, she's fitting. He didn't know what to do. But it was at that time, I was fitting and I just opened up this locker that Swamiji had given me, my Kantmala. I took out the Nithyananda, which was dry. I was just rubbing on my shoulder. Swamiji, you said rub, I'll be there. So Swamiji saved my life because it is surprising that although I was fitting, I was fully aware. I was aware of what was happening. I could hear what they were saying. And I was constantly shouting for him. And this took a long time, an hour and a half, while I reached finally, and they could hear me shouting for Swamiji. When I reached the accident emergency, they checked me. And they just could not believe. I gave them a full history. I told them what problem I had, what medication I have, because they just started me on. I had the lowest blood sodium, which nobody could understand how I could be so wide awake, aware.
Wow.
And I know why I was aware. I'm a doctor myself. I know what it's like in that situation. And I could see my body. I could see my life slipping away. And that's the time I was calling him. Swamiji said, call me. I will be there. I believed him. I knew he would be there. And I called him, and he took me there in full consciousness. And they kept saying, we do not understand how can anybody with that low sodium is wide awake. Anyway, I was treated, I was home. My whole life has changed. I mean, I was giving you one example. I just can't, he saved lives of so many, like my family members, my son-in-law, my grandson, literally dying, and Swamiji pulled them out. It's just everyday life that has changed. I was born a Hindu in India, but I never knew much Hinduism. And it was Swamiji who actually showed me how deep, real, only way to exist religion in the world. And I was born in it, and I was blind, I didn't know. And there were many like us. We were very anglicized and liked everything Western and Western education and so on. And I learned first time through Swamiji this very, very proud, ancient, real religion. And hearing from him, you are Paramashivam, whether you like it, whether you understand or not, whether you hear me or not, you are Paramashivam. It's taken this long to actually slowly sink in. My whole life is completely different, completely transformed. I have never been happier despite non-stop crisis in my life. And this is where I can feel the Sangha he set up for us. We are there for each other. The love and encouragement and the feelings, I can't ask for any more in life with friendship. And then the whole ecosystem, it's the food. I can't believe that I'm 75 now, that till 70 years I was eating meat. And now it won't go down my throat. It's how life has changed, how the whole ecosystem is infrastructure, where I saw there was temple-based life, they had gurukuls, there were goshalas, there was a whole education system. And now Sri KAILASA, he set up the only Hindu nation. How fortunate to feel that in this lifetime, I can see a real, true Hindu nation being set up by my Guru. I'm so proud, beyond words. And I have learned from him how to enrich myself and others. That this is a real life. And thank you, my Guru. I never knew what your life was till you came in my life. Thank you for choosing me.
I must say that was such a beautiful and very deep sharing of how Swamiji literally is there for each and every one of us. When Swamiji blesses each one of us with this Khandamala, the 911, like you beautifully shared, like during that COVID time and you were having this diagnosed with cancer, and just with a call of Swamiji, he was there, he was guiding you and he saved your life. That's so beautiful. Saroj, I would like to
say one more thing.
Sure.
That was very big. I have now felt in everything Swamiji says, talk to me. Why you worry with your own mind? Why you bother your mind? Talk to me. I learned the art. And I tell anybody, please take this leaf out of my book. Talk to him whole day. He is there. And whatever you want, a little thing like finding a parking place, or somebody is annoying you, or you are getting a negative thought, you talk to him. You talk to him because he is the real one. Nobody can support you, and he is me, and I am him. Last time, in the last PSM that I attended, I said to him, Swamiji, take away my fears. Take this out and replace it by yourself. And he said, okay, I will get inside you. I will take your fear away and I let you live Advaita life. So anytime I get fear, I say to myself, hey, why is this coming? I have Guru inside me. How can I not be happy when my Guru is inside me? You tell me.
I just wanted to add to the note that this is exactly what we've been learning in today's Paramashivam Level 2 program. When Guru is inside us, what more can we really look forward to? That's precisely what we've been learning today. And thank you so much, Ma Saroj, for such a sweet share. Most importantly, even in such dire life-threatening situations, by just holding on to Kantamala and reaching out to Swamiji, how you can save your life is so beautiful. And I also would like to add a note here. There are so many thousands of techniques that life sciences have provided. And one of the important contributions of Swamiji and Kailasa is that all of these techniques are catered as per the individual, whatever the individual connects with, whatever the individual resonates with. So there are multiple things that's being offered. So you can really pick and choose and say, okay, this is something which I can connect with, my being resonates with, and I want to practice this. And you are empowered to practice this. Not only you're just empowered to practice, but you're also empowered to teach and reach out and share this knowledge with one another. So that is one of the most important contributions of Kailasa as we speak today. And like we went through all the different important contributions of Kailasa, here is the call for action for all the viewers and participants. One of the best things that you can do to yourself is being part of this Kailasa nation. Today, the important aspect of today's presentation is about how Kailasa is giving all the solutions from Hinduism and making the world a better place to live in. Whether it is in terms of global warming, or in terms of education issues, or in terms of poverty and hunger issues, say Kailasa has a solution, and Swamiji has revived all these solutions from the time-tested Hindu sciences. So to be part of Kailasa is the best thing that you can do to yourself and all your future generations. Always we think that, okay, we have to leave the best, leave the better for the next generation. If that is something you always wanted to do, this is the best thing that you can always do, because Kailasa is leaving the world as a better place to live in by reviving and making and implementing the Hindu life sciences as a practical tool and as a practical life-saving tool in every aspect of life as we speak. So I request all the participants, whoever is deeply connected to this cause and feel that yes, this is something which you want to be, you can always sign up in sksjp.org/contribute. That's running on your screen. So requesting everybody to take that one step, one moment to decide that, yes, I want to be a Sarvangapita Yajaman and Sarvangapita Karta, which means that you're supporting this whole Kailasa nation. And there are multiple ways how you can do it, but this one place, if you are able to become a Sarvangapita Yajaman and Karta, you are deciding to contribute towards the seed infrastructure for making the Kailasa open to one and all. So what we've seen today is, Ma Saroj, like this, there are millions of people out there who are looking for healing, who are looking for life transforming solutions. And we have lots of work to do in reaching out to billions of people what Hinduism can offer and what Avatar has descended to make this enlightened conscious living available to one and all. So let us all come together, join hands, and make this whole thing happen by signing up for Sarvangapita. So links are being projected. And there are also few folks who feel that, okay, they are facing some obstacles. They want to manifest, but they don't know how to manifest. If you are one such person, you can always reach out to us. All you need to do is just send a message in either Facebook chat or a YouTube chat or in the Paramashivam group. So if you feel like, okay, I really want to manifest and there is some obstacle, so I would like to find a third eye solution, you're always welcome to, and you can post that in the Facebook group. And there is also a QR code that's being projected on the screen. You can scan that QR code on the screen. So wherever you are, you'll be able to directly led to the MPSM Season 2 group. And you can post your interest to avail this opportunity to be scanned from third eye. So I request all the participants, viewers, to take this moment to sign up for sksjp.org/contribute. This is a wonderful opportunity where you make a difference. You show a difference and you make a statement to the next generation that we really care for you. By signing up for Kailasa, you are making a statement that you really care for the next generation, because Kailasa has got the solution for every single world problem that we are stuck in. And Kailasa is the solution for the whole world. So if you really care for the next generation, if you feel that you need to make your life meaningful, all we need to do is just sign up and join hands with Kailasa. Sign up as a Sarvangi Kalachaman. And if there are any obstacles, anything that you feel that it's impossible, they're always there to reach out to you, and we're always there to support you. You can actually ask Third Eye Scan. Just checking the Facebook groups. So, Ma Sadashivamai, Ma Hiranmai, all of you can please feel free to share. Yes, so there are a few folks who have requested for third eye scan, so that's wonderful. So we have Ma Sadashivamai, who's requested a scan about SJP. And okay, Nithyananda, Ma Sadashivamai, it's so wonderful to connect back with you in this session. And I request you to please sit straight and close your eyes. Let us chant Mahavakya together. Let us connect with Swamiji and let us see the third eye solution, how you can manifest Sarvanyapita. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Yes, Nithyananda Masadashimai. So, first thing that I would like to share with you is, the whole possibility of Sarvanyapita, becoming a Sarvanyapita, Swamiji has already laid out for you, right? You just need to become intense about this manifestation, right? So, first thing is, you towards the Mahashivaratri, right? Take a sankalpa that you will start exploring all the options for you to manifest this Sarvanyapita, especially the avenues where you will have an immense support from your paternal side, right? So you'll have an immense support from your paternal side. If you're seeing your relationships, the relationship that you share with your father, it is actually one of the most complete relationships that you actually have in your life. So just hold on to the strength of this relationship, because at the end of the day, being part of Kailasa Nation is nothing but shouldering the responsibility for the whole world, right? So when you are complete with your father, that means you are complete with all the relationship dimensions, sorry, responsibility dimensions of life. So just by you deciding to be intense and persist all the actions towards becoming a Sarvangapita Yajaman, by Shivaratri itself, you'll be able to manifest it now. You just need to decide and reach out all the avenues. You have all the avenues and everything already laid out for you to become Sarvangapita Yajaman. From Shivaratri itself, you can start attending the whole program as a Sarvangapita Yajaman. So take intense steps with Swamiji's grace and blessings, you'll be able to manifest it. So thank you so much for sharing and reaching out to us. And next we will go to Mahiranmai. You've asked for a third eye scan if time permits. Sure, definitely. So Mahiranmai, I think this is your fourth or fifth 21-day program in Swamiji. It's so exciting. It's really exciting the way you've been participating throughout the last 6 months, really dedicating your life for this spiritual retreat and spiritual breakthrough that you're always looking for. Thank you so much for that. Now let us chant Mahavakya 3 times and intensely connect with Swamiji. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. Mahiranmai Nithyanandama. So actually when time comes, when the situation in your house resolves, you will be actually able to take sannyas. You'll be able to take sannyas itself. It is just the time to be able to convince your entire family. So this is what third eye revealed. And thank you so much for coming forward to request for a third eye scan. And we'll definitely connect further into this after the session. So with this, we come to the end of this segment. And once again, would like to request all the participants, just take that first step, right? Signing up for Sarvangapita Yajaman is the first step that you can take to yourself, that you can take for yourself. And just by you taking that first step, Swamiji has so many times reminded us, you take the first step, I'll take million steps for you. Don't worry about, oh, I don't have these resources, I don't know what my partner is going to say. Just don't worry about any of that. Does this cause resonate with you? Do you care for the next generation? Do you want your life to be meaningful? If the answer is yes, do you want to be an extension of Paramashivam? If the answer is yes, then just close your eyes and just sign up for Sarvangapita Yajaman. And let us all work towards this manifestation. We have a huge global team lead who would like to support you throughout this journey of you becoming a Sarvangapita Yajaman. So let's take a few minutes to sign up as a Sarvangapita Yajaman. So with this, we enter into the most awaited moment of the day, the darshan of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, who's going to grace us all for the Paramashivam Season 2 program participants. So
Nithyananda, all the participants, every one of you that are sitting here, awaiting one of the most favorite, one of the most blissful segments of our day, the Bhava Samadhi Darshan that we're all going to be receiving now. All the participants, yes, every one of you that are tuned in here for the Bhava Samadhi Darshan, with us all, how excited are each of you to receive this darshan? Mahaparamashivam. How excited are each of you to receive the Bhava Samadhi Darshan? Very, very shortly, we are going to be receiving the darshan of Gajamukha Anugraha Murti, the form of Paramashiva that bestowed Ganesha, Ganapati, with his head. This form of Paramashiva is the most compassionate, most beautiful happening. Actually, during the Bhava Samadhi Darshan, right, as every one of you are sitting here, you might be sitting somewhere in the US, you might be sitting somewhere in the UK, you might be sitting somewhere in Australia, whichever part of the globe that you are sitting in. Through the Bhava Samadhi Darshan, thousands of miles apart, you will be receiving all the energy, powerful cognitions, everything just through the Diksha. And every one of you that are tuned in with us, I can see so many participants sitting. I request all of you to please take a few minutes and come back and please be seated in front of the camera. And it is very important that for the Nayana Diksha to happen, all of us are seated in front of the camera. Very, very delighted and all that eagerly waiting for the live darshan. And
Nityanandam? Nithyanandam? Nithyanandam?
That we are going to be having
Issue?
ॐ नित्यानन्द परमशिवोऽहम् ॐ नित्यानन्द परमशिवोऽहम् ॐ नित्यानन्द परमशिवोऽहम्
Nithyanandam? Apologies for the technical glitch. I hope all of you are able to hear us better now. So we are going to be having the live darshan of Bhagavan Gajamukha Anugraha Murti through the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. All of us are eagerly waiting for this moment. We are going to be having the live darshan. What happens to us during this darshan is something phenomenal. For you to get any results, be it you want to achieve something as a fitness goal, or be it something that you want to do, even to work on your own self, how you feel about you, how you are yourself, or be it you want to work on it based on the relationships you have in whichever aspect. As for our human knowledge, human logic, human understanding, based on step 1, step 2, and I do this step, then I get this result. But what we experience from something phenomenal, this equation that the human logic has changes. The quantum physics world has started touching upon this subject, has started discovering the subject. That is where the things that we learn in quantum physics are completely based on quantum, where things happen without even the physical contact of two objects. It's also called as quantum entanglement, where one object can, with its vibration and its waves, can have a positive influence and interference with the waves of another object.
And this happens beyond the meters of time or space, no matter how far apart each other are, but they are always in tune with the other, which means a particle which gets entangled with another particle no matter however far they are distant, the behavior of another particle gets influenced by particle A. So the influence of the behavior of particle B, the pattern particle B gets influenced by particle A. This is what quantum world is just beginning to understand as entanglement. But in Hinduism, Sanatana Hindu Dharma, of years ago, we did not just know this technology, but we were adept. We mastered the science of using the technology practically. The Guru Shishya Sampradaya, which remains as the back Hinduism, was centered around this science, the science of transmission, entanglement, the Upanishad, where the master, the highest possible human conscious existence that a human being can be in, transmits that state, that consciousness into us, into every sentient being, to raise every one of us to the highest possible frequency, the highest possible state of consciousness that each of us individuals can exist in.
So beautifully put. Actually, the very human logical equation that we have, some effort, you do step 1, step 2, and then you achieve the result. Changes so drastically because here we learn something called as a divine intervention. We experience it. Whatever you do, whatever you want, you can just sit right where you are at your couch, and by just tapping a few buttons on your fingertips, you can receive just through this powerful initiation. And get the power to even manifest anything that we want by our Kundalini Shakti is getting awakened. And this science, this supremely beautiful science, is brought to us for the first time to the entire planet Earth, made available and accessible to the modern day human beings by none other than the very avatar of Paramashiva. The revival of this science started exactly in the place that was seen, Tiruvannamalai, where the avatar chose to descend. And the last 27 plus years, he's been us this highest possible experience to human beings in the most user-friendly manner to each and every one of us. No matter which walk of life you're from. Many of you sitting here might be teachers, doctors, engineers. You might be from different careers, different walks of life, hitting different paths. You might even be having different ambitions in goal life. But the science that Swamiji provides us, the initiation, the diksha, the transmission of this experience can make you excel in whichever walk of life that you choose to pursue. So every one of you that are sitting with us here, when Swamiji's eyes upon the Nayana Diksha, this is what we call as Nayana Diksha. Just through the eyesight, the master transmits the highest experience into us. So everybody that are seeing in front of the camera, all the participants that are receiving the darshan, you are going to be receiving the Nayana Diksha, where not just you are seeing Swamiji, but Swamiji is going to be seeing you. He is going to be transmitting the energy and initiation into each and every one of you. During the Bhava Samadhi Darshan, be in the meditative space of gratitude. Just be open and receptive. All you need to do is just enter into that space of whatever prayers, anything you have, you can feel free to put it in the chat. And all of just Bhagwan's eyes falling on your message is enough. You'll immediately be blessed, and you will the wounds that you want will immediately start manifesting as energy. Today, when we're experiencing the darshan, what is exactly going to be happening is we are going to be experiencing Bhagavan Gajamukha Anugrahamurti, the form of Paramashiva, who gave the head to Ganesh and who is the remover of all obstacles in our life. he is going to physically manifest through the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Now let us understand this science, which is very unique only to Hinduism and which is only revived by Swamiji and given as a gift to the world. The deities, the gods, goddesses in Kailasa are real. They manifest for human beings in two different forms. One is as Archavatara. All of us visit temples. We see the deities in the temples. So through the deities, what we are experiencing is the consciousness and being of those divine gods and goddesses. But human beings are not mature enough to receive the higher level experiences directly from the Archavatara. So out of supreme compassion, unconditional love, Cosmos descends in the physical form as the avatar. And through the Bhava Samadhi Darshan, the avatar channels each god, literally embodies, physically embodies every single deity. That is why how many of you here have experienced the darshans like Kala Bhairava Bhava Samadhi Darshan or Devi Bhava Samadhi Darshan? How many of you here, the participants that are sitting with us right now, how many of you here have experienced this? I request all of you to go and put it in the chat now. Please take a few minutes and put it in the chat. How many of you have experienced this? Great. Now, I want all of you to share, especially if you had experienced this physical darshan of Bhagavan Kala Bhairava or Devi Parashakti's Bhava Samadhi Darshan. During this time, how many of you have noticed that physically you have seen Swamiji's body actually change? Like during Kala Bhairava Bhava Samadhi Darshan, you will see physically the whole body of Swamiji will completely like become huge. And same way, during the Devi Bhava Samadhi Darshan, physically you will see how Swamiji's body becomes so feminine. How many of you have seen this? How many of you have experienced this? I request all of you to post it in the chat.
You all can share with us. Actually, I'm sure a ton of you would have had this as an experience. Every time when we have the darshan, the Bhava Samadhi darshan, right? We just transcend no matter what space or how our day would have been, nothing of that matters. Not just that, even the time, the number of hours we may sit. For many of you, it might be midnight, early in the morning, or you would have just been back from a heavy day in the office or a busy day in the office. But when we sit for darshan, no matter whatever might be happening in our inner space, that moment is like pressing a reboot button in our very being, isn't it?
Yes.
We will just have the whole thing completely reset and refreshed.
Absolutely. And as I was sharing, right, like the deities physically land. That is why we see there's a huge physical level. We see the transformation. Like you can actually see Swamiji's body completely changing. So it's a physical level. You will see the deities landing in Swamiji. And yes, I'm seeing so many of you that have logged in on YouTube. Veena Budhalar, Tetiana, Sangavasini, Masaranka Vidyakaran, and Aina, Nithyananda, to all of you. So excited to have all of you here. Yes, we are going to be having the live darshan starting very, very shortly.
So all the participants that are here, all the viewers that enjoyed the session and that all listened to the session, for every one of you, all the viewers on Facebook and on YouTube, for you to receive these Bhava Samadhi Darshan, do not miss. Please go ahead and sign up for Paramashivam, and you all can join that, because today we're going to be receiving the Gajamukha Anugraha Murti, the first of the 64 forms of Paramashivam. All of these are different manifestations, perhaps the superconscious mutations of Paramashiva. And today we are going to be receiving the Bhava Samadhi Darshan of Gajamukha Anugraha Murti. So I'm sure every one of you are very, very eager to receive this darshan, but please sign up and become part of Mahaparamashivoham, and you can receive these darshans. So we thank you all for joining in for this session. Please sign up you all can go to paramashivam.org and you can sign up there to become part of Mahaparamashivoham. Our KAILASA Vasis, we put the link for all of you to sign up, to join. Do not miss, you all can sign up and join. And we thank everyone for tuning in to this stream. Thank you. Nithyananda.